Okay, here we are on the tail gyro tab, and on here, very simply, you're just going to come in and set your left and right servo travel limitations. For mine, it's very happy at 88 on both ends, and so I'm going to put those in. Of course, you're checking this with your transmitter. If you have any issues here, and you've got, if it's in heading hold mode, you may need to take that down temporarily. If it's not letting you get to your endpoints or it's moving really slow, you can just dial that down so that you're out of heading hold mode temporarily, and then when you're done setting everything up, you can go ahead and put that back to where it was so that it matches your radio again. Go ahead and hit right, and it'll tell you OK next. It brings up the other values. Your default yaw rate agility is a 12. That's pretty aggressive for a lot of people, so they recommend bringing that down to 9 to start with. Your expo is up to you. You can set expo here, or you can set it in your transmitter, whatever is easiest for you. Your delay, the default of 2 is fine. They say to use GY611 presets for the tail P&D gain and collective pitch range. All this, just use the GY611, and this is a good starting point to get your model going. From here, you're just going to go ahead and hit the right button to change your unequal sign to equal, and then it tells you OK next, and you're done with the tail tab. The default head gain, now we're on the rigid tab up here. The default head gyro gain, you're not going to mess with that right now. That's going to be after you're all done tuning the model. You'll set everything up, you'll find the gain that you like, and then when you're done and you're ready to go into horizon mode and set up horizon and rescue mode, then you'll lock this in up here, and you'll reassign that channel on this tab. On the horizon tab, you'll reassign that channel to actually like auxiliary 1 in my case will function with the horizon mode and bail out. So you need to lock that in, because right now it's currently set up to work off of that knob. So you just leave that alone. For me, I select acro, and it adds these presets in here. I'm going to write that to the unit. It's green, tells me OK next, and I'm actually done. But one more time I can say OK, and this is going to tell you to check all of your sensors. Check your sensor direction for all 3 axes. So you'll pick your model up, you'll tilt it nose down, you'll tilt it tail down, you'll move left and right. You want to make sure that the swash plate is compensating in the opposite direction of where you're tilting it, and then also that your tail is compensating in the proper direction, just like any standard tail gyro. If you're done with that, you'll say OK next, and then now you go out and test the model. So you can say OK next again, and you're done. Go out, adjust your gains. You start with your tail with probably about 50% and your head at about 50%, and you'll adjust them to your liking. For the head, for example, you can bring that up until you start to see some oscillations or bobbles, and at that point take it down about 5%, and if everything is steady, then that's going to be your default head gain that you'll use when you come back over here to the rigid page. Now it's unlocked all this stuff, and you can come in here and program that default head gain to whatever it was that you really liked, and then you'll save that, and that's your new default head gain. These other values here, if you go to the sticky on the HeliFreak HeliCommand forum on helifreak.com, there's a sticky up there that one of the team flyers has put up that has good starting adjustments to use for all of these sliders. Again, at this point, we're still on the software, so I haven't gone flying since I've been talking to you on this video. So I've got to this point, and I just kept hitting OK, and it allowed me to get to all these other parameters under the tail gyro as well as on the rigid page. So here you can go and lock those things in. You could adjust them based on that sticky, and the sticky is a good starting point for where you'd like these sliders to be in general for all models, you know, say from 450 size on up to 700 or more, up to 800 class models. And these settings are the default settings, the settings and the sticky on HeliFreak on the HeliCommand forum are a very good starting point for just about any type of model that's out there. At this point, that was everything going from the All tab through to RC. You set your servo type, your tail servo, what type of receiver you're using, you assign your channels, you go to diagnose, you set your endpoints, so you're basically calibrating your radio and your receiver to match HeliCommand so that you've got 0 at 0, you've got full deflection in each direction for every channel. You go to your trim page and you make sure that you've got your level swash and a centered tail. You go to your mixer page and make sure that your orientation is correct for your flybarless unit. You go to your servo reversing if you had any servos that were going the wrong way. Your servo travel is your cyclic throw, aileron and elevator. Your collective travel is your overall pitch range. Your tail gyro, you'll set your tail limits here. You'll set your tail gyro gain default if you don't have a active radio that allows you to continually change that. Your yaw rate agility, again, most people set that to 9. Expo is usually left at 0. Well, I leave it at 0 and I just adjust the expo on the radio. I also leave my agility at 12. I like it to be wide open, and if I want to tame it down, I could put in some dual rates in the transmitter, but it's recommended to start at 9. I selected 611 for the tail gyro expert settings. Presets, rigid, again, head gyro default is left alone for now. We use those sticky numbers. I didn't put them in here yet, but that's what you would do. And we started by selecting acro, and we make sure all that is saved. We go through every tab and make sure that we have green equal sign on anything that has an equal sign, and as long as they're all green, this one is not right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and say right. That's green. Then we're done, we're ready to go fly, and your HeliCommand HC3sX is set up.